So after what happened with The Amazing Spider-Man 2, I never watched the Sony rebooted Spider-Man as part of the Spider-Man Marvel Cinematic Universe they were producing at one point and had so much ideas like the Sinister Six. It was revealed after the failures of Amazing Spider-Man 2. In fact, one of my friends still hates that movie, but specifically since they built up the cliffhanger ending and nothing materialized from that. Moving on. After what happened, Sony and Marvel were starting to discuss that they would release a new Spider-Man film, and it would be put in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It was part of a deal that Sony and Marvel made that they would share the creative rights of the Spider-Man character and the franchise so that regards him. And when that happened, I was like, okay, how will they make this work? So then we got Civil War, and that Spider-Man was awesome. Tom Holland was awesome, and a lot of people were starting to say, even though he hadn't had his own solo film yet, it was Spider-Man, a lot of people were starting to say, maybe he's the best Spider-Man since the Sam Raimi movies. And, yeah, also, so yeah, would this be a bad time to tell you guys, I only seen the first Spider-Man movie. I never watched what everyone says was the superior sequel. I did watch a little bit of 3, but I was like, yeah, not interested. And here's the thing. I was interested in Spider-Man 3 because I wanted to see Venom. But then I just lost interest with it because something about it just wasn't really interesting to me. I don't know what. It probably was because of all the studio involvement, but even then, I didn't know about that since I was just a kid. So during the development of this movie, I had heard after Civil War that Michael Keaton was going to be cast as the main villain, and I was thinking to myself, oh, the amount of hate that the DC comic fans are gonna make, because Michael Keaton's last role in a comic book movie, he had said he was not sure if he wanted to do this because his last role he did was back in 1990s, was it? Batman Returns. That's the movie. That was the last time he was ever in a comic book movie, and he was Batman. So to the fact that he was cast as the villain in a Marvel movie, I thought to myself, okay, that has to have pissed people off, because, yeah, okay, I was thinking to myself, that he would be pissed off because, well, that fans would be pissed off of DC fans because they said, yeah, he's a DC guy, he can't do that. So, okay. So, okay, moving on. Also, but here's the thing that got confusing, and this started a trend, I believe, with the extended universes series franchises that were being made, and the separate comic book movies they're making. Okay, so you would think that, oh well, Sony's gonna no longer have the rights to Spider-Man to an extent, Marvel's gonna keep it, and they have full creative control on this. Okay. But then something happened. Sony announced that they were restarting their own cinematic universe of Spider-Man, but not with directly Spider-Man. With Venom, actually. Tom Hardy's set to play that. It's already begun production at the time of this video. And all I'm thinking is, okay, do it. Okay, there's no way you can screw this up. You're saying this is going to be probably rated R. This is going to be intense. This is Venom. You screwed it up once from what I've heard. Please do not screw it up this time. So, yeah. So, I'll get to the trend that started with the announcement of Venom, but let me get into the movie of Spider-Man Homecoming, and I will say this, I'm finally glad I get to talk about this after several delays. So, this starts at the beginning after the Battle of New York, and Adrian Toomes, played by Michael Keaton, and his salvage company are contracted to clean up the city, but the operation is taken over by the Department of Damage Control, a partnership between the founder Tony Stark and the United States government. Okay, I'm just wondering something. When did this form? I'm trying to wonder, when did this form in the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Because here's the thing. This was their first appearance. Yeah. This was their first appearance in the, in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So I'm wondering, where the hell were they before? Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, Peter Parker, this was okay, so remember in the first Iron Man movie, they went ahead and they received his child during the battle with, Iron Man and, what's his face? I don't remember. Yeah. Here's what they said. They said that child was Peter Parker. Yeah, okay, I get that they're trying to wedge in to make some sense, but, why? Just, why? Like, they really put that in there? They really just said that's their reason that, oh, he was always part of the universe. No, he wasn't. So, yeah, I thought that was a little nice Easter egg that they just put in or not really sort of thing. But afterwards, Adrian Toomes decides that the employees keep the Chtharian technology that they've already salvaged or scavenged and use it to create and sell advanced weaponry. Now we move forward to 8 years later. Oh, and by the way, Michael Keaton punched a guy in the face, so yeah. So 8 years later, Peter Parker is drafted into the Avengers by Stark to help with an, quote, internal dispute. And by internal dispute, civil war. So, yeah, we see different angles of the Civil War scene, specifically the badass airport scene, where Spider-Man apparently been recording certain aspects, which makes me wonder why the government didn't take the camera. Yeah, have you noticed something strange? For Department of Damage Control, you're kind of really sucking at your job right now. I mean, like, you've made a guy go ahead and commit crimes to commit an illegal weapons operation, yet pissed off how many companies that were hoping to benefit from the salvage company, and now you not even notice that Peter Parker is obviously recording all this, which means that, well, I don't know, if someone were to find it and upload it to the internet, if they knew who Peter Parker was, oh god, this is not gonna go. And here's the thing, that never comes into play again. You would think that, oh, well, maybe that might come into play. That never comes into play in this movie. So after the whole chaos of Civil War, Peter Parker and Tony Stark are in the limo, he's recording stuff, etc., 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 and he resumes his studies at Midtown School of Science and Technology when Stark tells him that he is not yet ready to become a full-time Avenger. Since Peter Parker is doing the Spider-Man job he's doing, he quits his school's academic decathlon, and one night after preventing criminals from robbing an ATM with their advanced weapons from Toomes, Parker returns to his Queens apartment where his best friend Ned discovers his secret identity. Also, I must stress, this takes place 2 months after Civil War. Yeah, how did I'm just trying to wonder that. I'm just trying to wonder something about that. So, yeah, after Ned realizes who he is, they freak out and whatnot, and and Aunt May, who is 52, the actor, and I'm wondering, wait, she's 52? He doesn't look 52. So, yeah, anyways. Um, Afterwards, after he convinces Ned not to reveal his secret identity, although he indirectly somewhat says that, somewhat reveals it to an extent when he says Peter knows him. So Parker comes across Holmes' associates, the Shocker. Yeah. Yeah, when I heard that name, I was like, oh, wow, that brings back a lot of bad memories for wrestling. And guess what happened? They acknowledged it. They acknowledged the Shockmaster. That was hilarious to me. Like, Michael Keaton says, the Shocker? Are you kidding me? That sounds like something from pro wrestling. And I'm thinking, oh yeah, it is from pro wrestling. It's possibly one of the most embarrassing moments in what was that guy's name who was in the natural disasters. That was probably his most embarrassing moment in his career. The Shockmaster. So yeah, so Tom's associates, the Shocker, and Herman Schwartz or something, selling weapons to a local criminal, Aaron Davis. Parker saves Davis before being caught by Tomes and dropped in a lake. Who calls himself the Falcon. The Vulture. Nearly drowning after becoming tangled in a parachute built in his suit, he is rescued by Tony Stark, who isn't really there. Who is currently out of town on vacation because he's a billionaire philanthropist and just wants to have fun. Also, he might be trying to vent out, trying to find what best way to vent out because of, what happened in Civil War, and he's trying to recover psychologically from that. Yeah. So, yeah, he warns Parker against further involvement with the criminals. Tomes accidentally kills the original Shocker with one of their weapons. After Shocker reveals he might threaten to reveal the truth about their, understandably, reasonably, and not really justified, but still understandably illegal operation. And Herman becomes the new Shocker. Yeah. So, yeah, here's the thing. I was thinking to myself, wait, why? Why do you not... I get you don't want Parker involved because Tony Stark doesn't admit it in the movie, but clearly he wants to say it. He doesn't want Parker to be like him. Yeah. And, yeah, also, here's the thing I was thinking. Who's going to stop them then? The Avengers? I mean, that probably won't work because, let's see, half the Avengers are criminals now. Let's see. Okay. And they've even acknowledged, yeah, Captain America is an international criminal. Because we see Captain America in a public service announcement. Yeah. Okay, so anyways. So when this happens, I'm wondering, what are they going to do? Like, half the Avengers are criminals. The other half, let's see, Tony Stark is going through psychological repairment because of the truth that was revealed regarding the Winter Soldier and his parents. Let's see. Vision is currently depressed because the love of his life is now criminal. No, don't worry, Vision. You'll be all right. And by all right, I mean you'll most likely have your robotic head be ripped apart by Thanos in Infinity War, most likely. And War Machine's crippled. And Black Panther, he's aligned to an extent with, I don't know, Captain America. Or just Steve Rogers. So, you can't use him. Yeah, how are you supposed to stop this guy? Are you going to do it yourself? Because, yeah, you're kind of an idiot. Oh, and by the way, Thor and Hulk, yeah, they're not here. So, because Hulk disappeared after Age of Ultron, we see him in Thor Ragnarok, and Thor went back to Asgard, not knowing the extent of the situation that's about to brew there. So, Yeah, how are you supposed to stop this illegal operation if you don't even know how to start this? In fact, wait, Tony, I don't want to say this, but isn't it you and the government's fault for having this problem? Yeah, so as much as I would say clean up your own mess, Parker doesn't know that, but yeah. So Parker and Ned study a weapon left behind by the original Shocker, removing its power core. When a tracking device on Herman leads to Maryland, Parker rejoins the decathlon team and accompanies them to Washington, D.C. for their national tournament. Ned and Parker disable the tracker Stark implanted in the Spider-Man suit and unlock its advanced features. Parker tries to stop the Vulture from stealing the weapons from the DODC, Department of Damage Control truck, but is trapped inside the truck, causing him to miss the decathlon tournament. When he discovers that the power core is a grenade, an explosion. But before that, we get some moments of Parker getting to know his AI that was revealed, and it's just hilarious, only to realize that only 37 minutes had passed for him, even though it felt like days. So when he discovers that the power core is not a power core, it's an unstable grenade, Parker races to the Washington Monument where the core explodes and traps Ned and their friends in an elevator. Yeah, I'm just gonna say it. I don't want to be the bearer of reality, but you just realize you not only nearly killed your friends because of your incompetence, but you almost destroyed a historical landmark. Yeah, I get the feeling that's why the Sokovia cards are justified to an extent. So after evading local authorities, shouldn't they know that Peter Parker was at the airport? Like, wasn't there, like, something to indicate that Parker was there? Like, clearly Tony Stark knows the last half of the Avengers. One's all depressed, one's crippled, one is, I don't know, on the run. Oh yeah, by the way, Black Widow's still on the run. So, like, yeah, after evading local authorities, Parker saves his friends, including his fellow classmate and crush Liz. Yeah, I'll get to her in a moment. Returning to New York City, Parker persuades Davis to reveal Tom's whereabouts. Yeah. Aboard the Staten Island ferry, Parker captures Tom's new buyer, Mark Gargan, but Tom's escapes and a malfunctioning weapon tears the ferry in half. Stark helps Parker save the passengers before admonishing him for his recklessness and confiscating his suit. Okay, so that happened. So Parker afterwards returns to his high school life. We just get a montage for a little bit, and then reveals to Liz that he likes her, which was clearly obvious because he's the worst guy who keeps secrets, except for Spider-Man, until the end. I'll get to that. To go to the homecoming dance with him, and I'm thinking, ladies and gentlemen, we have a title. On the night of the dance, Parker goes to their house. He goes to Liz's house and then discovers that his crush is secretly the daughter of of the enemy. Yeah, and during on the way there, like, Tones is unaware of anything. But here's the thing: Liz points out the frickin' obvious, and Tones realizes his secret identity. And I'm thinking, wait. I'm not an expert or anything, but if he could figure that out, why couldn't Liz? Yeah, I'm wondering why Liz didn't figure it out. So during the dance, Parker realizes Tomes is planning to hijack a Department of Defense damage control plane, transporting the weapons from Avengers Towers to the new team's headquarters. How long ago was Age of Ultron? They clearly established the base at the end of the movie there, so wait. Why didn't they move it beforehand? Yeah, I was wondering that. Though I get why they had to move their headquarters, mostly because widespread catastrophe could happen if the base is right there in the middle of a city filled with millions of people. Though, of course, the Defenders will probably help, but we haven't seen them in the movies yet. So Peter Parker, without his advanced Spider-Man suit, uses his old homemade one, and races to Tom's lair. Yeah, he has a lair. He's first ambushed by Herman, the new Shocker, but defeats him with the help of Ned, who just realizes he just had the best moment of his life. And at the lair, it's a warehouse, not a lair. Yeah. Tones destroys the building's support beams and leaves Parker to die. Parker escapes the rubble after realizing the power of believing in yourself and intercepts the plane, steering it to crash on the beach near Coney Island. Yeah. Yeah, he crashed the plane. It's not like there's that there could have been dangerous explosives on board that ship, but that's completely different. He and Tomes continue fighting, ending with Parker saving his life after some unstable material explodes, and nearly him dying, and leaving him for the police along with the plane's cargo. After her father's arrest, Liz is forced to move away to Oregon, and Parker declines an invitation from Stark to join the Avengers full-time because he wants to stay on the ground for a little bit longer. Yeah, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, Peter, but, you only have, like, I don't know, a couple of months to stay on the ground, and then you're thrust into a war of multiversal proportions. Yeah, you're not going to be lucky to do this. So, after declining, we get the return of Pepper Potts. Yeah, try saying that. I know she's been in the movies for a long time, but we get the return of her, and it turns out Tony Stark and her got back together with no indication why, and he reveals that he plans to propose to her at a conference that was set up for Parker to reveal his Spider-Man identity. Oh yeah, also that guy that keeps appearing in the movie, what was it? I'm trying to remember his name. The guy who also looks after Spider-Man, Happy, also known as Harold Hogan. Yeah, I just wanted to say, okay, that was kind of funny. Especially, I was thinking, like, okay, he's part of the Avengers to an extent as helping Peter Parker and whatnot, and, well, Tony Stark's his bodyguard. Okay, I'm just wondering, when he talks to Peter Parker in the bathroom and he starts to reveal his backstory for a little bit, saying how much he loved his job, I'm trying to wonder something. Why didn't he clear out the bathroom? Yeah, we were going to get this big moment of about his life. I'm just wondering, why didn't you check? I'm like, aren't you a bodyguard? Like, aren't you supposed to be a little paranoid? I'm like, I get it's a school. Okay, now that I think that out loud, that's kind of stupid. Yeah, you should have cleared everything out. Specifically because kids are evil. Yes, I know they're in high school, but, yeah, I'm just still saying it. Kids are evil. Most of the time. So, yeah, I'm just wondering, well, that moment was ruined. So, Stark returns Parker's other suit that was not the Avengers model that they made. And also, Tony Stark mentions Vision. Yeah, should I mention that he's still depressed, most likely? He puts on the Spider-Man suit, and then the camera turns and reveals Aunt May, who screams out WTF. Well, before the F could be clearly said, we go to credits. And all I'm thinking is, oh no, it might be turned into a rated R movie from that line. Why? Because it's Disney and they will cut out anything that is deemed offensive like that. So then after the mid-credit scenes, we get a mid-credit scene, obviously. An incarcerated Fulcher an incarcerated Gargan approaches Thames in prison. Apparently, Gargan says this, that he has some friends looking to kill Spider-Man outside of the prison, and has heard that Thames knows Spider-Man's real identity. But Thames denies this for one of two reasons. One is because that Parker rescued his daughter, or the other one is because Parker rescued him. Yeah, because here's the thing. He actually offers Parker a way out of all this. When he says, look, I know I should technically try and kill you, but, you see, you saved my daughter. I'm indebted to you for that. So, I'm here to give you an offer, an out. We can put this aside, just move on, just go to your dance and whatnot. Obviously, Parker declines on this after he gets in there and tells Liz that she doesn't deserve this, even though that should have been obvious identity reveal. So, here's the thing I'm wondering. Are they talking about the Sinister Six? Yeah, like, they mentioned the Sinister Six, and I'm just thinking, like, I don't read the comics, I'll admit that to like, I read some comics as you've seen on my videos, but, I'm thinking to myself, wait, shouldn't the Sinister Six be saved for the third movie that they clearly are going to do? Like, they announced a sequel, and that would be the beginning of Phase 4, so Parker's going to be guaranteed to be saved from the Infinity War and Avengers 4. So, yeah, so I'm wondering to myself, why can't the Sinister Six is this to show up the sequel that they're going to do for Phase 4, or are they going to do Spider-Man 3, whatever, and have the Sinister Six show up? Because, and now that I think about it, who will be the antagonist for Spider-Man 2 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Like, if they throw in the Sinister Six, that's going to be stupid to me, because, yeah, I'm just wondering, here's the thing I was wondering. I was wondering, why give the Sinister Six their role in the sequel instead of just doing it in the third movie? Also, Liz, I was thinking to myself, I don't really know what Liz's purpose in the movie was. Like, she's just there. So, yeah, here's the thing. Also, we get a Stan Lee cameo at the early part of the movie. So, I'm wondering this. What was Liz's point in this? Like Mary Jane, at least she had a point to the movie other than a love interest. At least. She was just a damsel in distress. Gwen Stacy, she actually actively got involved with Spider-Man's missions, and they actually interacted off of each other, and it ended in horrible tragedy. So, I'm wondering, wait, what does Liz do? I mean, you can't say damsel in distress because of what happened at the Washington Monument, because, oh, I don't know, Parker and his friend and Ned kind of caused that because of their bottomless stupidity to an extent. So, yeah. Also, here's the thing. I'm trying to gather my thoughts. Okay. I'm just left with some confusion to some things, like what's going to happen in the sequel, what's going to happen in the third movie that they're going to do. But they did say that they wanted to do a Harry Potter style build-up, like next year will be his next school year, and afterwards this was going to be his final school year. So, what was Liz's point in the movie? Like, she doesn't learn the identity of Spider-Man. She doesn't really contribute that much to the plot other than just a plot point. So, yeah, what was the point? I don't really get why she was in there. Like, at least Mary Jane had a point. Gwen Stacy was more active. So, Liz, she's just there for me. That's all I got. So, Tom Holland's performance as Spider-Man, that was actually pretty awesome. Like, even though he's 21 years old, he actually looks and feels like a normal high schooler kid. And, yeah. And I actually like this version better. Like, Andrew Garfield, I never watched him, so I had no opinion on him. But when I watched Tobey Maguire, like, every time when I saw clips of him, I was like, look, you could be a good Peter Parker, but could you stop with the overly emotional faces? It's kind of weird and a little cartoony. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm wondering who's going to be in the sequel. Who's going to be the villain for the sequel Spider-Man movie? Like, is it going to be the Sinister Six? I feel like they should save that for the third movie. Unless they... well, there is a possibility that they could do the sequel to do the Sinister Six, and the third movie, I'll get to that in a moment. So, and also I'm thinking, are we going to get Gwen Stacy in the sequel, and then Mary Jane in the third movie? And also, Michael Keaton's performance as the Vulture was considered by someone at the Los Angeles Times one of the strongest, most sympathetic villains of the entire series. Okay, I don't know where to rank him for top villain, but I don't think he would be the most sympathetic. Okay, yeah, maybe on that. But the strongest? Okay, let's see. You have Loki, you have Thanos, you have, what's his face? The guy who managed to destroy the Avengers to an extent and succeed. Well, at least until Infinity War happens. So, yeah, I'm like... Zemo, yeah, that's it. So, yeah. Oh, man. Also, I did love Michael Keaton just looking at the Iron Man helmet and just tossing it aside. Because, like, I'm thinking... okay, that's actually... At least they're acknowledging that he hates Iron Man to a very big extent. So... Okay. This movie was great. There was a couple of problems I had with it. Also, there's this character that just seems to point out the freaking obvious. The girl character, who probably could be a possible love interest if they actually did it. Let me see if I can remember her name. Michelle, I believe it was. Like, she's not actually... Like, they keep saying she doesn't have a love interest to you know, to, like, okay, I'm trying to gather my thoughts. I'm trying to reread the casting and whatnot. Like, they kept saying that she wasn't obsessed with Peter Parker. She's just observant, and I'm wondering, yeah, I just feel like she's just there for convenience and to point out the frickin' obvious. So... yeah, I'm curious as to know what's going to happen with the sequel that is guaranteed to guarantee, you know, I don't know, Holland's survival as Spider-Man in Infinity War and Avengers 4. Though, this does, also, apparently Tom Holland, had initially signed for 6 Marvel Cinematic Universe films. 3 of them being Spider-Man films, 3 being Spider-Man films, 1 being the Civil War movie, the 2nd being the Infinity War, and the 3rd being Avengers 4. So, yeah. So, here's the thing. Remember how I mentioned Venom was going to get his own movie? Well, like I said, Sony's starting to start this new trend that could lead to confusion for future cinematic universes, because there's been a lot of confusion with the Venom movie. Like, like they kept, one side kept saying, no, it's not part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Then someone said, oh, it is part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And then she switched around and joined with Kevin Feige. So it's like, what's going to happen? Is Venom part of the Cinematic Universe or no? And also, if they do make him part of the Cinematic Universe, this will be probably their first R-rated movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And I would actually be alright with the Sinister Six being in the second movie, although that doesn't make sense to me, if Venom is the third bad guy in the final movie. So, here's another thing. There was apparently a lot of footage from the trailer. I didn't watch the trailers, except for the first one a little bit, mostly because I was at a movie theater watching Guardians of the Galaxy 2, I believe, and they show clips of it. Yeah, I was thinking, wait, we never see Iron Man and Spider-Man go through the air and whatnot. We never see certain scenes from what I've heard. Apparently a lot of footage was cut that was originally supposed to be in the movie or just there for the trailer. Yeah, that kind of was a little surprising. So, Spider-Man Homecoming was awesome. A welcome return to the Spider-Man universe in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But when I told you about Venom, I wanted to say this. After what happened with the announcement of Venom and now the confusion there, DC announced a Joker origin movie that doesn't relate to the DC Extended Universe, much to the confusion of Jared Leto. And I have so much problems with the Joker origin story because me just saying that alone should have been obviously showing what's wrong. So, yeah, I'm curious as to what Aunt May is going to do. Like, they say the sequel takes place, like, what, a couple of seconds after Infinity War in Phase 4? Like, that's what I just heard, or after Avengers 4. That's just what I heard. They probably changed it by now. So, yeah, this is going to be interesting where Spider-Man goes, and I really do hope they actually say, you know what? Yeah, let's bring Venom into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That's the only way I'll be able to justify to myself the Sinister Six being in the second movie instead of the third movie. Venom or Carnage should be in the third movie, the final part of the Spider-Man trilogy of the MCU. So, those were my thoughts on Marvel and Sony's Spider-Man Homecoming movie. This was Neo Reality Entertainment. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and donate. Stay tuned for more.